Good morning, everybody. Jamie here with Wisdom in Golf at Cider Ridge Golf Club. Today we're going to talk about practicing your task. I've got some drills here to help you sure up that task, get better at it, staying on task, and man, are you going to see some improvement. We're going to use a driver today, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Stick around. Alright, so today we're going to do some practicing, some drills that I use with my students and also for myself at staying on task. What is a task? We talk about that fits into a flight plan, and our setup matches that flight plan into that picture, and then we stay on task to deliver that motion into that picture, and that's what produces that shot that we want to see. And so with a driver, it's super critical. I have a lot of students, competitive juniors and professional golfers that all struggle with the same thing. They get to a dead straight par 4, and you can't really, the hole didn't have much shape. So that's a time where, and I know everyone has those at their home course or wherever you play. And a real critical thing of playing a dead straight hole is trying not to hit it dead straight. It's one of those things where you really want to pick a flight plan, and then pick whatever that flight plan is, and let it fit into that hole. It's a whole lot easier than trying just to aim at the middle and make sure that you hit it straight. And that doesn't work. Normally that's going to add some tension in there and some strain, and next thing you know, it's like, I use the analogy to my students a lot with the ones that are driving the car. I have some juniors, but the ones that are driving a car, if you stare at the white line long enough, you kind of go that way. And so that's kind of the same thing with this. If you get off task, it's oftentimes you'll find it. You heard 100 times people say, make sure you don't hit it in the water, and next thing you know, you hit it in the water. So that's what we're going to work on today, is kind of what we do on the driving range to make sure that we get on the golf course and we don't do that. We want to have a flight plan. We want to stay on task. The more you get into doing this, especially on the driving range, the more you do this, it's incredible how much you just are going to naturally evolve into hitting these shot shapes. And it doesn't matter the level you are, just stay patient with it. It doesn't matter even for absolute beginners. The task trumps everything. And you will see that you're going to naturally improve a whole lot quicker. And man, is it a whole lot easier to play like this. A lot less stress, and we can kind of gauge ourselves on how well we stay on task. So, a little drill that we use a lot, I use all my students, and I do it personally every single day, is it's a momentum drill, but it's a momentum drill that practice staying on task. So I'll hit a couple here for you to kind of demonstrate and kind of explain to you what we're trying to do here. So remember, I'm gonna hit a fade here to start. This is the first ball I've hit this morning. So I like to hit a fade. It's just I use less strain. So I'm going to use really feel the momentum of the club when I hit this shot, and I just like to hit a natural little fade. So a great drill to get you started. So is even if you're at home and you've just warmed up and you've hit a few balls with your irons or wedges, and you work your way up to the driver, it's a lot different hitting that driver for the first time than it would be hitting a wedge for the first time. It's a whole lot. The club's longer, it's heavier. You typically want to swing it a little faster, but what we really want to focus on is using this momentum of the club, letting it gather up and then delivering it into a picture that we want to go. It's not so much I'm just going to aim and whack it and hope for the best and see where it goes. No, I'm actually going to have a plan. So if you can see, I just kind of lay a tee on the ground, and it's going at that gap in the trees, if everyone can see that, at the blue pole. So, and what I want to do to start out with, especially with the drivers, I always do the little momentum drill where I'm going to feel a little bit that swing going a little bit to the right. A little bit to the left. I'm going to hit a fade here. Going to feel it going a little bit to the left, and just feel that momentum of the club swinging. All right. So now I can see that blur is going to the left of my intermediate target, intermediate point. Now I'm just going to witness that as it goes through that area. And a good thing, and what I like to say is, when I get ready here, I'm making my blur going to the left, and I'm going to put that blur into action. So when we get set up here, we're going to aim right at the intermediate point. I'm going to check this blur, and I have every student do this drill. Now here we're checking for our setup. Can I move that club? Will that club go left of that intermediate target? Yes, if I'm standing too close to it, you'll see you can't do it. You're going to have to do some strain. You're going to have to move. That's where, with a driver, you don't stand the same distance from the driver as you do an iron. For instance, if I was standing here hitting an 8-iron, you know, I would be in here, swings a lot steeper. If I stand that close with the driver, it's going to be more of a block fade, and we want it to start on line where we're aiming, so we can get the, you know, the right landing position that we're trying to get in the fairway. So I'm going to go right at my intermediate point. I'm going to swing this just a little bit left of it. So when I get set up, I'm going to check here for the weight of the club. I'm going to get it moving. Yes, with no strain, I can go to the left of that. And now kind of the key is I don't like to look back up at the target, because sometimes you'll second guess. And you know, have you ever done that where, say you get an intermediate point right here, and then you go to set up and you look at the target while you're walking in, and then all of a sudden everything, you've lost it. You've kind of unplugged yourself from that shot. So I like to, a real key to this drill is I won't let the students look up. We're going to do everything from here. We're going to get our flight plan, which is, for me, is going to start right at the white pole and fade over to the blue pole, right in the middle of that gap. That's the middle of the fairway. We're going to go right there. So I know that when I'm standing here and I get my intermediate point with my binocular vision, I know that this is correct. So that white tee, the point of that white tee is exactly where I want to go. All right, so I've got it there. I'm going to set up into this here. I'm not going to look at the target here. I'm getting my setup, my distance from the ball, my blur. There it is. Now I'll look one last time into that picture. I can see that ball flight perfectly, and now I'm going to swing with ease in that direction. And if you can see that may actually hit the blue pole. Okay, it just missed it by 2 yards. So I would say that's absolutely dead center. Not bad for the first swing of the morning. Super solid. So what I've done there, I'm setting myself up for success. And with a driver, that momentum and letting it gather up is critical. So I always like to come in. We do this drill at, say, I tell the students, let's feel like you're 60%, or we grade it sometimes on how much strain we put in it. So I would feel that was like a 2 on a strain of 10. I mean, I had no feel, and you could see it was beautiful, and that's kind of where I go. So I've set myself up for that. I always ask them, say, all right, let's hit a shot, and then let's feel how much strain. We're going to grade ourselves on that. So I have 6 balls here. We always do 6 balls, and we're going to grade ourselves after each shot, basically on how well we stay on the task. So the task is to send the club to the left. So if we watch the blur here, I'm going to stay in this shot until that blur goes through that area, through the intermediate point, and then we're just a witness, and we're just going to watch the shot go into our picture, which is a fade here on this one. I hit one more fade here. Again, we're going to go through this one more time. I'm going to not look at the target here. I've already got my intermediate point. Ball position slightly forward. That allows me to get that club going that way. Now here I'm just a little bit off, so I've got to adjust just a little bit. I'm too far left. I can't get it going that way, so I'm going to adjust. That's good practice to do also. Give yourself those 3 different ball positions. So if I walk up and it's too far back, I can tell you I can't get it going to the left of that without doing something. I'm going to be, stuck. That's going to be that block fade we don't want to see. So remember, you just practice this task. Practice seeing the blur. Go through the area that you want it to pass, and we know. I don't have to guess. I don't have to make sure. I don't have to trust anything. I know that if I set up in this setup, swing into that picture, this ball is going to fade. All right, so we're going to go one more here. I'm going to get at my intermediate point. All right, nice setup. I'm braced. Nice. There we go. Now that fits. Now I'm going to stay until that club goes through that area. I'm going to stay in there. Take one peek at my flight plan. I see a high fade. Now I'm just going to deliver it with momentum into that picture. That's even better than the first one. So there I feel a little bit more. That time I actually felt like I was trying to hit that one a little bit higher. So you can tell as I go through, and that's a good thing we do. I always have the juniors, I will say we'll experiment with tee heights and things like that, and finish positions. You know, I'll have them hit a lower one, hit a higher one, and that really enhances your experience of watching that ball flight. Helps you stay on task. So if I know, for example, now we're gonna go to hitting a draw. So I'm gonna hit a draw here, and I'm gonna hit it lower. So this is one, like say we got a little wind into us, and I want to hit this little lower draw. The hole's kind of going to the left, and I want to hit a little draw to get around the corner, say, or whatever the case is, and move it off of a bunker that's out there on the right. So again, if we're going to hit a lower ball flight, I'm going to finish a little lower. Now that doesn't mean that I'm going to add any strain to this. I'm going to make my setup, I'm going to allow my setup to match that picture, and so I can finish in that direction. So here we're going to go right at the target with a little closed club face, just a little. I've changed ball position just a little. I would say I moved it just a little further back than where I was on the fade. And so now, can I get that going to the right? Yes. I'm going to feel that momentum going. I'm going to finish a little lower. See the ball flight. This one's going to go at the blue flag with a little bit of draw. Do we have that spot? Yes. I'm braced. Now I'm just going to wait. Stay there for that club to blur through that intermediate area. And if you can see that, I hope you can. That drew about 5 yards and absolutely split the middle of the fairway. So, and I in a little bit lower flight, so it stayed under the wind. And you know, the more you practice this, the better you're going to get at it. It's not like I'm trying to hunt this spot. I'm not trying to hunt this finish or this hip turn or whatever. Remember, the task trumps everything. If my task is to hit this ball a high fade, I am going to naturally, and if I give myself that blur that's going to move to the left of that target, it's going to move left of that target, and the ball's forward, and I'm going to play into that pitcher, and I'm going to hit a high fade into that pitcher. How do these positions look? Really good. I can't manipulate them and get the club to blur through there. Now remember, the task is to send the blur of this club left of that intermediate point into my pitcher. That's the task. If I stay on that task, this shot is going to be, it's going to do exactly what I want it to do. I don't have to trust anything or make sure that I hit it. I get on those straight holes that are dead straight, out of bounds left and right. I'm just going to aim down that left side, send it into this pitcher, and I promise you it's going to cut right back to the middle of the fairway. If I stay on task, there it is, slightly left of it, ball is slightly forward. Can I deliver that blur into that pitcher? Yes. And now I'm just going to be a witness to this, and I'm going to stay there till that club blurs to the left. That's as good as I can hit it. Almost hit the pole. So that's perfect. And it's not, and I'm not hitting these shots to, you know, to show off or anything. I'm hitting these shots to show you how simple it is. And I like, if you've seen the videos that I'm in, I like to keep things simple. And I do with my students, and I think, you know, most of them can testify to that. Their scores come down because it's a simple task. Human beings are very good at a task. We're not very good at body positioning. And you can keep chasing your tail all you want to doing that, and you'll see, and you can pull it off from time to time, but you're always coming back to another tip. Where have I got to get? Where have I got to get here? It's just, it's, to me, and I tell everyone this, it's a miserable way to play, and I've done that for a long time. But now, this task, staying on task, swinging into a pitcher with ease and momentum, man, it's so much easier, and you're going to find that you're going to naturally improve. And all my students are finding the same thing. If we shoot lower scores on the golf course, juniors are shooting lower scores on the golf course because they have a simple task. They have a plan on each and every shot. And if you stay in that task, stay through the shot, watch that flight plan, it's going to be really good. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go out on the golf course. So we're going to take this to the golf course. Now remember what we're practicing here. The real key for this is, which I feel is the really key, is getting your target here and not looking at the target when you're walking into it. So if I get my intermediate point here, when I walk in, I'm not looking at the target, I'm looking at the intermediate point, because remember, the task is to get the blur going that way. I can do it now. I'm going to look in the picture, I'm going to send it right over those clouds. If you can see those mountains out there, I'm going to send it right over those clouds. Yes, that's it, with ease and momentum, right over the top of that cloud. Now I know that my setup is going into the intermediate point with a little cut. It's perfect. So it's real easy to take this to the golf course. We're going to go right now, we're going to show you a couple of little straight par 4 and talk you through hitting a tee shot on one of those. Stick around. Okay, we're on hole 18 at Cider Ridge. Playing it as a par 4 today, 465. Just to kind of set the hole up for you, we got out of bounds on the right, cliff off to the left into the abyss. Don't hit it over there. So this is a perfect opportunity to put in what we were practicing on the range. You know, staying on task, hitting into a flight plan. So you sure need it here. Fairway's about 30 yards wide, so I know most people have one of these tough holes at home, maybe on your home course, or if you're in competition, say the club championship, and you need to hit an important tee shot. You know, staying on task and having a good clear flight plan, it's gonna make a big difference, no doubt. So I'm going to kind of walk you through this one, just like we practice on the range. First thing we do is pick a flight plan. I'm going to go off this bunker just to the left of the bunker, start it there, and draw it back into the middle of the fairway. And for me, I like to look at the height, so I'm going to go up to those white clouds. I can kind of see the ball going in that one. And I play this bright yellow ball from Strixon. I like to see it fly. I like to see the flight of it. So remember, now the key here is I'm going to get my intermediate point with my binocular vision, standing here looking like that. And I'm not going to look at the target until I get set up and I can see my blur is in a spot that's going to deliver into my flight plan. Now, and then I can look up at the target and then see, you know, my shape and everything, and feel the ease and momentum. So here we go. Out of bounds to the right, hazard on the left. I'm going to draw it away from the out of bounds into the middle of the fairway. So I'm going to get my intermediate point, which is right here. Okay, that's just left of the bunker. It's a piece of grass there. I'm going to go just left of it. All right, so now I'm going to get there's my club face there. Now I'm going to set up, and oh, that's perfect. I've got it, hit it the first time. So now I can look up, I see the flight through those white clouds. A little adjustment there. Yep, that's perfect. With ease and momentum, can I deliver the blur? And I'm going to stay in this shot. Remember, we want to see that blur. We're going to stay in the shot till that club appears right there. Then I can release up into the shot. So we're going to hit ease and momentum. I'm going to put this blur into action. That's perfect. Ease and momentum. Perfect. Right over the bunker, drawing back, drawing back, drawing back. Perfect. Right into the fairway. So not a lot of stress there. Really simple once you get good at a task. Remember, task trumps everything. The better you get at the task, you're just going to naturally evolve into hitting those shots. This is great for any level. It doesn't matter, beginner, you know, all the way up to a tour professional. They're picking flight plans, picking a target, delivering into that picture. I know this is going to help. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Check out Shawn's Wisdom in Golf Premium channel. I'm going to keep saying that. It's absolute gold. And until next time, all the best.